What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. So I definitely would say that the NBA owners and or whoever else makes a decision besides the fans, because back in the day, the fans always made the decision who makes the All-Star game and who starts and who doesn't. And I definitely say that Kawhi, PG, possibly even James Harden was snubbed for the All-Star starters position. And don't get me wrong, the ones that are there, I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there, but, you look at a situation like that or like this and you say to yourself, okay, LeBron James is always going to be a top tier, a top name up there because that's LeBron. Like he's basically like the face of the league, always has been for like the last 10, 20 years. 20 seasons, well, maybe not 20 seasons quite because Kobe was around too. Kobe was the face of the league for, a while. And then I'd say LeBron kind of took over maybe about 10 plus seasons, give or take. But either way, Kawhi Leonard specifically should have been a starter to me. You definitely could have threw Paul George in there as a starter as well. I know Paul George is kind of inconsistent, things like that, and I give him a hard time. But, Paul George been playing pretty good this whole season just about, along with Kawhi Leonard. Both of them have really been putting in that work. Both of them have really been, healthy for the most part, playing through injury. Paul George got an injury right now that he re-aggravated, which is his groin injury, which I spoke on the other day. And nothing really, no big crucial news about that in regards to it holding him back from, playing in, tonight's game against the Toronto Raptors. But that's a good thing. And, Kawhi missed like 4 games. But for the most part, this season, they've been very durable so far. It's been 40 plus games, I believe, in the season. And they've been very durable. I mean, you can't sit there and say they have not been, durable for the most part and been there for this team. They have been accountable. They've been there. They have been hooping, especially, the beginning of the season, it was more like, Paul George was really like, getting off a lot, what I'm saying, doing his thing at any given night. And, Kawhi was still doing good as well. But, I'd say, a little bit, maybe not. I'd say a little bit after Kawhi really just took over. What I'm saying? He really just locked in and turned into that Terminator that we saw for about 3-4 straight, for the whole month of December. And, going into January where we are now, he's still hooping, what I'm saying? So like both of them has really put in the work in regards to putting up good numbers. They're both averaging around the same. I think one is like 24 point 7, the other one's like 24.3 or something like that. They're pretty much identical in regards to their scoring. But I mean, they both have had great games this year. I mean, Kawhi's had, a 41-point game this year, a season high, and Paul George had a 38-point game this year, which was a season high. So, I mean, both of them have really been putting in a lot of work and playing, at high minutes at that, what I'm saying? And the one knock on this team has been, health. But, so far they've been healthy. And with the addition of James Harden, the way he's been playing, getting everybody the ball, getting them in the ball in their spots, getting crucial assists, knocking down big threes, being a good orchestrator that he is. I mean, one of the three really to me should have been as a starter. More or less so, it should have been Kawhi Leonard because Kawhi is just, when Kawhi is in the lineup, they win a lot more. And that goes a long way with me. So even though Paul George and the rest of them play good, but when Kawhi is there, their chances of winning is a lot higher because he's the best player on the team. And Kawhi just has that type of effect because of his overall dominance within a game and its structure and how it plays out. So, and I think that's one thing that gets underrated a lot with Kawhi specifically. It's just one of those things where it's like, all right, you'll look at Kawhi and say, yeah, he's a great player, but he's not this player, he's not that player and all this other stuff. But Kawhi is just as comfortable as any other superstar in the league, if not better. Really, the only thing that holds Kawhi back is injuries or load management, whatever people want to, classify him as. But other than that, I mean, he has been a very, very, prominent figure in the NBA for years, and he still is that. And it's just that he doesn't speak to the media as much as they would like him to give him more of that notoriety, in which he's already well known anyway because he's a superstar player through his gameplay. So, I mean, I get it to the point of, maybe some fans looking at it that way, but Kawhi had over 1 million votes. What I'm saying? I think Paul George had like 1 million votes, or pretty close to it. So, I mean, there's no reason why the Clippers shouldn't have one or two, both guys as a starter to me, because when you look at their record also, see, we got to go by their record. I mean, the Clippers are like a game or 2 games out of being in first place. I mean, they have really been the month of December. They undefeated at one month of December, I believe. I mean, they really went on a roll and really took over the NBA and really let everybody know and put the NBA on notice. Like, we are contenders. We're not pretenders. We are not. If you thought we were pretenders years ago, well, we're definitely not that now. We're definitely, good enough to go out there and win the championship based upon what everything we have and how we're playing as a unit. And, for them to figure it out pretty quickly, the way Ty Lue said that he would, I got to give Ty Lue a little bit of credit there. He did figure it out, rather quickly. I mean, I thought it might have took a little bit longer to figure out how to get everybody gelling and things like that, but it really didn't. It took about 10, 12 games, and they really started to play a lot better, and they've been playing great ever since. So it's like, when you look at a team, their record, when you look at their best players, when you look at the effect they're having on the NBA in regards to, like, everybody noticing the Clippers are for real more so this year than any other year, they definitely should have made the All-Star starting, rotation. At least one of them. I mean, you may not say two of them, but at least one of them should have made, should be a starter in the All-Star game. That's just my opinion. But I mean, of course, it's not that big of a deal overly, because the All-Star game is just a very good, cheerful event to this point. It's not like, it doesn't have the magnitude that it used to have maybe years ago, when players really tried to, go out there and play a lot harder, even though years ago the score was still high. But I mean, I'd say the second half, guys really start, trying to really go at each other, you know what I'm saying? And like, now it's just more of just a fun event, and, maybe they'll play hard a little bit, but not really as much. And I get that. But I mean, to be a starter in the All-Star game it's a good stature. It's a good, it's something good to have. And Kawhi's been a starter before. Actually, Kawhi's been All-Star MVP before, along with Russell Westbrook, actually. So, I mean, they've been there, done that. I understand that. But I mean, I just feel like they should put more respect on these guys, because these guys are really showing everybody that they're taking the regular season serious, in which people said the Clippers weren't doing years ago. And Kawhi and PG is being accountable for every game pretty much. They're pretty much always available, and they're going out there every night, putting their bodies on the line, doing their job, of course. And of course, they should be doing their job, right? Because they get paid for it. And I understand that. But at the same time, we got to show some appreciation, give them their flowers for actually, trying to, better their situation, even when all the naysayers try to knock them down throughout the years, and they're still going, and Kawhi just signed an extension. Kawhi is playing great. I mean, Paul George is playing great. I mean, the whole team is playing great, honestly. I mean, if that Nets game the other night really didn't show you what type of team they are, years ago, the Clippers probably would have lost a game like that, against the Nets, where they're up by 22 points or something like that. Clippers would have just mailed it in and went on to the next game. But no, there's so much fight in this team, and there's so much desperation and hungerness in this team. It makes them a little bit different from years before. So with the two main guys, Kawhi and PG, playing as good as they are, I think they should get a little bit more credit than what they did. Hopefully, one or both of them make the All-Star game. Either way, it's fine. I mean, because like I said, their ultimate goal is to win a championship anyway. So whether they make the All-Star team or not, I guess it really doesn't matter at this point, because I mean, all of them have been, all these players are well accomplished. All of them are going to, all four of their star players are going to the Hall of Fame. All of them been in multiple All-Star games and All-Star MVPs, MVPs of the league, finals MVPs. So they've done everything you could think of. So I mean, it really doesn't make or break them, but just the respect on their name and who they are and what they're doing so far this season, being one or two games out of first place when nobody thought they would be nowhere close. I think they should get a little bit more respect than that, and one of them should at least been, a starter in the Western Conference or the All-Star game.